We're talking about rioting as legitimate political expression. It comes back to this point. I saw David Davis in the New Statesman at the weekend saying that people sort of tied up within protest. People have the right to protest and also the right to disrupt. Like, what is the point of a protest if it is not disrupting? And then Just Stop Oil sort of crashed the rugby Premiership final.
They're attacking the working man once again.
Once again.
No, if it wasn't the Crucible, now it is Twickenham.
Just a word on London this weekend as well, because I was on my way into town to go for some drinks, and there was like this ungodly concoction of Twickenham summoning them, the Twickenham Jeans and Shoes Brigade, SHEUX shoes, brown shoes. Then there was the Luton and Cov fans going to Wembley for the playoff final, and then in between those two groups of people, if you picture them in your heads, then I want you to picture like an army of teenage boys and girls dressed as comic book characters for Comic-Con, and watching all of these people kind of intermingle with each other in central London was a sight to behold.
It's a beautiful tapestry of modern Britain.
It actually probably is.
Like university prospectus. Like, we attract everyone.
Do you think Just Stop Oil made the rugby Premiership final more popular? Do you think more people have heard about it as a result?
Yeah, I think rugby, hardly anyone... I like rugby, but I didn't know the Premiership final was on this weekend.
Ava, as our barometer of a normal person, did you know the rugby was on this weekend?
I did not know the rugby was on this weekend, but that's probably because I'm dating someone now who doesn't play rugby. And that used to be my signifier.
This is the first time.
Yeah, that used to be my signifier at any sporting event. I know they're at the rugby.
Where is it today? Is that the rugby?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm changing my view of Just Stop Oil slowly. I think they're getting better at securing outrageous amounts of media coverage without really disrupting anyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We all saw clips of, or I saw a clip at least, of the crowd shouting wanker at the protesters. And so
the rugby.
Yeah. And so
they chucked pints on
and so you're like, what are they doing? Oh, Just Stop Oil. Oh, what's Just Stop Oil? And then you begin the trade. Oh, maybe they're right about just stopping oil. Maybe I'll get involved. It's doing their tactics.
Maybe I'll get involved. Yeah, the sort of people who go to rugby.
No, it's not the crowd. I didn't mean the crowd. Well, maybe them. Maybe they would.
They were booing. I don't think
they were. Maybe there's one environmental.
Booing? You know who weren't booing? Chelsea Flower Show. They liked it.
Did they?
When you panned out, there was another video, and they were clapping.
Were they?
It was this.
I'm not sorry. The only one I've seen, they're like, security.
Yeah. That was the first one, and she's like using the hose. Then there's another video where it's panned out, and they're like,
that'll solve it.
That's the gracious clapping that they do at Chelsea Flower Show.
No, I think Just Stop Oil are getting better. I think they're getting shitloads of media attention with like big set piece stunts, but it's less disruptive to normal people, right? They're targeting people who go to Chelsea Flower Show, i.e. freaks. And people
say that. No, I'm only getting protective because my dad dropped on me the other day.
Here we go. My
dad is like this London geezer, and he was like, I'd quite like to go to the Chelsea Flower Show, and I was like, sorry?
Yeah.
Words I never thought you'd say.
So yeah, I'm sorry, Ava's dad, but I think you might be a freak. For wanting to do that.
He'll kill you.
Yeah, I suspect he probably will.
The size of you.
Yeah, and then also the people at the Premiership rugby final at Twickenham again.
Sale Sharks fans.
Yeah. Yeah, and Saracens freaks. They're not in the same way. Then they were shutting down like the Dartford crossing, and that obviously has like a huge swathe of people that it affects. I think they're getting smarter with it.
I just wish I knew what they were going to say. I wish they knew what they were going to say when the stunt was done. Like, it always feels like they do the big stunt, and then this kind of awkward silence, and then someone just shouts, "We're opening oil fields!" No one gets it. It's like, why don't you say things like...
I think it's probably, they're quite flustered, aren't they, in that moment?
Well, I think we need better training.
If you're running towards 30 men whose job it is to hit each other quite hard,
you said better training, right? You have quite a good anecdote, don't you, about a Just Stop Oil training workshop that was...
Yeah, I do actually. It's great. This is also, my friend...
You don't have to name people.
No, I won't. But my friend who this happened to doesn't have a podcast. So this is his platform. I'll credit him next week if he wants me to.
Yeah.
But a friend who's a reporter was tasked with infiltrating Just Stop Oil or a similar kind of environmental group. They were having an open day almost in Westminster. Like they had lots of stalls, etc. And he went along I think it was Just Stop Oil, went along there and said, "Oh, I'd like to join." They said, "Great, come to this training session in, I think it was in a shipping container in East London, and they had there was 14 people there. So my friend went along. He went in costume. He was wearing like walking boots, like horrible trousers, etc.
You're moving as if he had like those sticks that you walk with as well. Yeah.
Walked in.
Yeah.
East London.
Walked in, fitting the part. And so he said they had to do like lots of like role play stuff. Like they'd pretend, say it was Ollie and I. Ollie would pretend to be an angry driver, and I would pretend to be sitting on the ground blocking the road. And it was like trying to get you in the mindset of whatever. So my friend goes back to the.
Do you want to do that now? No?
Yeah, try.
Get out of the fucking road!
No! That was good. So, like that.
Lovely.
But then he goes back to the outlet that he works for, and I don't know why, but the story was delayed. And in the intervening time, The Sun published the exact same story. One of their reporters had infiltrated Just Stop Oil and gone to one of their training events. But not just that, it was the exact same event that my friend had been at. And not just that, the person that my friend had been doing the role play with was in fact the Sun reporter.
No way.
So there was two reporters, two undercover reporters taking it up. So 14 people, 2 were journalists, and then it turns out there was a separate third reporter in the room as well. So 3 out of 14 of these people in this room, Just Stop Oil's guerrilla training camp, were undercover reporters.
God, he missed his deadline quite hard, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's not a bad way for sort of the proprietors of The Sun and The Mail and other newspapers of that type to collapse those organisations by just infiltrating them with their undercover reporters. Like the enemy within, just take them down.
Not really, because what are you going to prevent? Like, now we know that they're not going to move out the road. What do you mean?
I bumped into a Just Stop Oil slow march actually on Friday, and Chris Packham was there. I had a chat with him, and it didn't seem that effectual, to be honest with you. They were sort of slow marching down the road, and then the police were like escorting them, and then the second, police need some kind of section 12 or something or other where they sort of immediately get like a block on the road and they're allowed to move them out the way. And then they just moved them onto the pavement and the traffic went past. I feel like the police have kind of responded.
It was so ineffectual that we published a video of Chris Packham that went everywhere.
Yeah, no.
And then he was on Times Radio and LBC and all the other brands.
Yeah. But that was him talking about the right to protest.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have filmed him if you'd just seen him walking around Trafalgar Square.
Yeah, but their goal isn't to get Chris Packham on telly.
Because it is.
Just Stop Oil's.
I suppose
Just Stop Oil.
It's not their ultimate goal.
Just Stop Oil's only goal.
What was he on telly for? To talk about the slow march, to talk about the climate crisis.
He was actually making a documentary about the right to protest, and he was being filmed by a Channel 4 film crew for that documentary, and they filmed me interviewing him.
Oh, it's so Channel 4.
That's fun.
Well, I wouldn't have minded if I actually had a camera, but I was using my phone, so I looked like one of those sort of weird Westminster people that goes around like heckling MPs.
I've got one more thing to say about Just Stop Oil. I might have said it before.
Say it.
I think it's really funny that they force people to defend ridiculous cultural institutions like the snooker, like the sanctity of snooker, like the sanctity of the Gallagher Premiership rugby final. These people have worked long and hard to see their team, Saracens, take on Sail Sharks. England will die without rugby union.
Yeah, and the snooker as well. That's so true. Yeah, the sanctity of the bay is defiled once again by a crusty.
Also, like, that's so rugby that they were shouting like, "Oh, wanker!" Like,
Wankers.
wanker.
Here at HQ.
Yeah.
You can't come here.
How did they get it? Actually, easiest place for Just Stop Oil to sneak in because they're all the same, aren't they? They're all the same class.
One of us. One of
They were
us.
going anyway.
Oh, finally we don't have to cosplay as a working class person. Oh.